well, he had a number of interviews straight off the bat, which was absolutely awesome. Completely surprised he hadn't had one in the Australian marketplace for so long and had never had this much recognition, like once, and interviews arranged. Today I want to take you on one of my client journeys, and obviously due to confidentiality the names will be changed. However, Antonio is from South America and highly accomplished individual, academic with an MBA, and lived in many continents, including obviously South America, Europe and Australia. English isn't his native language, however he speaks it incredibly well. And Antonio's situation when he came to me in February, he was very despondent with the Australian with the Australian job climate. He probably arrived in Australia 2 years ago and had picked up some project coordinator roles, but given he's normally a project lead running $1 million projects, it's like dropped down in what he's used to doing. And when it got to November last year, he found himself in a role that didn't gel with what he wanted to do. It was a small organisation where he basically he took on operations manager duty, and he was also selling energy as part of his role. He's an awesome sales guy, but it's not what he likes doing. And the role was referred to him to a friend, and he felt that he just wasn't bonding with the director, and it just wasn't, it was causing more unhappiness and overwhelm than he wanted. So hence he gave that role up, and since November he'd been looking for a new position and was finding it incredibly difficult to find something in the Australian marketplace. So he came to me in February and we did the usual, what do you want to do stuff? I don't know. That's why I'm here. And so we did a six coaching session package, whereby on the first session we really found out exactly what made Antonio tick, what his values were, how it could be aligned to work, what his ideal work day looked like, so he could get a really good feel in his head of the environment and the position which he wanted to do. And then in the second coaching session, we went through, like, from a career perspective, exactly what he believed his strengths were, what he liked doing, what he disliked doing, and I provided him with the Career Fitters Assessment online assessment program I use, where he could really understand exactly, well, we could put everything he'd learned from the first 2 sessions into the career assessor form, where we could find out exactly what type of careers really suited what he did and what were aligned to his personal values, etc. And the interesting thing, what we found was that the top 3 roles were ones which he had already done and he'd enjoyed, or he thought about doing. And so we decided to continue down the project manager route and looked for project manager positions, non-IT, that were in an environment that suited him and that he liked. So he went out, we prepared the resume, we got his cover letter sorted, we found roles through Seek and LinkedIn, and wrote to and built his network with decision makers in Australia. And what we found by our third coaching session was that people actually taking note and now recognising his abilities, his skills, his capabilities, just because his CV had been written in more of a way that the Australian decision makers and corporate guys could actually relate to and resonate with, and we'd be able to really look at some of his achievements and really put them out there on the CV. So what we were able to then is he found a position where he had a number of interviews straight off the bat, which was absolutely awesome. Completely surprised he hadn't had one in the Australian marketplace for so long and had never had this much recognition, like once, and interviews arranged. So from there we were able to then go into the interview process. Actually, how do you answer competency-based questions? What is SARS technique and how does it work, and why is it so good to use? And he had a couple of interviews, a couple of video interviews thrown in there as well, and he was able to choose from three project manager positions what he wanted to do. And as a result, we chose a short contract, So, which started in May, June this year. So from February, March, April, May, June, within 5 months, he completely turned himself around and was able to go out in a position that suited where he wanted to go at the remuneration he wanted and in an organisation that suited his values and his personal needs. And since June, the journey has been fantastic. He's always wanted to get into Agile, so now he's an Agile Pembroke Scrum Master accreditor. He now has he's always wanted to set up and run an Agile PMO. He's given the opportunity to do that in this position. However, all good things come to an end, and he knew that this was a not-for-profit position and that it might not continue through to December. We took the risk as a contract, and so now we're back working together on the bigger and better plan of what the next role will look like. And now we know, from working together since February this year, almost a year, we've now been able to really narrow down exactly what Antonio's personal values are and where they align to, the type of environment they align to. And now we've been able to integrate his hobbies with his project management, and now we're actually looking for roles which combine both. He's currently at an interview, and so fingers crossed he gets what he's looking for before Christmas. So how has career so if you talk to Antonio and get feedback from him, career coaching has made a real impact on his life, personally and professionally. He's now a lot more confident in his ability to go out and deliver and communicate. He knows exactly what he's looking for. And he's become really resilient. Like, he was already resilient because he was so used to failure, but now he doesn't accept failure as the norm. He's now out there accepting, I can get these positions, I can get interviews, I can get offers, I can choose the role that suits me best. So that's probably a really great opportunity, a great showcase of exactly what career coaching is at its best when we're looking at career, well, that could have been potentially a career change, but he chose to stay as a project manager, but we were able to evolve his project management, his own personal understanding of what he thought he should do as a project manager, into aligning it with his personal values and be able to get that really perfect job for him. So if you're something you would be interested in, of course, we're going to have a discovery one-on-one session. But more importantly, first of all, I invite you to do my 6-day Unstuck Your Career Challenge. It's free, where you can get in there and really understand, am I actually in the right? It will get you thinking about, am I in the right role? Do I need to do a career change, or do I just need to unstuck myself from the current career muck I'm in? So I'll leave that for you to decide. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.